I was surprised to hear, we were just talking briefly, and I was surprised to hear that the survivors actually were not, I just assumed you would have gone to them and they would have participated, right up front, but it sounds like you actually had to deal with them for a while until they decided to participate. Why is that?
Yeah, it was because I think their wives, I had to speak to them first through their wives because the husbands, Stephen Stone and Doug Brown, their husband, they both were really suffering from PTSD, and I think their wives, they were just worried. Well, first they thought I was a spy from Transocean and didn't want to talk to me. But then...
You seem very spy. That jacket is very spy-like.
I know, yeah. But after that, it was more like, is this going to be beneficial? Because they both have these really intense nightmares, and is this going to be something that makes things worse for them, or is this going to be cathartic? I mean, so there was a lot of conversations about, is this good for their mental health? And I think...
Did you try to sell them on the idea, or did you just basically put it out there? Because, I mean, that's a big responsibility. If you were to sell them on the idea and then it had negative effect on them, then you would be responsible.
I mean, it was kind of like one of the hardest things. It's like these moral questions, like how do you push for this? I mean, definitely is the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night, I felt like it was really important for the movie, but I also don't want to, I mean, they suffered so much, and I would spend a lot of time on the phone with Margaret Brown, talking to her, and she was, I mean, it was some of the hardest parts of the movie was just going through what they were going, I mean, I wasn't going through what they were going through, but sort of discussing.
Feeling their pain,
yeah.
And they've seen the film, and what was their reaction once they saw it?
Well, that was the scariest part, because we screened it for them. The film premiered at South by Southwest, and we screened it for them the morning of, and it was super emotional.
So you screened it for them before the public screening?
Yes, because again, with the PTSD, everyone was concerned that they might want to leave, or I just wanted to make sure they knew what it was before they saw it the first time with an audience.
And what was the context? Did they see it together, or did they see it in a hotel room?
We all saw it in a group together. And we had a private screening room at the Austin Film Society. And
the reaction was?
There was a lot of crying, but happiness that the story was going to get out.
There must have been a sense of vindication on their part that their part of the story, especially a couple of years after the fact, where they had been kind of shoved, as you see, kind of pushed aside and ignored, and the oil company seemed to just go on unfettered. There must have been a sense that their story was being told, and it must have been very gratifying for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely it was gratifying, and I mean, we were talking a little bit about before, how they kind of, I think the process of talking to people at South by Southwest about it was really was kind of cathartic for them. And
so audiences would come up to them afterwards?
Yeah.
That must have been really intense.
It was intense.
Yeah. And so their feeling now is that I have no doubt that it was cathartic for them, and that in fact are they doing well now? Better?
I think better, yeah. I mean, they still haven't gotten any money. But I think that, I mean, that's not the only thing, but I think, I think, seeing people recognize them in their story, I think, and hear them talk about their guilt and just sort of just getting it all out there, I think was positive for them.